if we take a step back and if we think, right, back when maybe when I was working at L'Oreal and before that, right, was the time of essentially if you were notable within the hair industry, you were working with a brand 9 times out of 10, right? You were an educator, you were based at L'Oreal, Schwarzkopf, Davines, you name it, right? And you were known because you were representing them on a brand level. And there was a PR element, and that was kind of how people grew into these well-established hairdressers that we know now, who are these incredible names. However, over time, and especially over COVID, when the rise of the individual just went, phew, and now we have these incredible talent who I'm so lucky to work with, who have their own businesses, which are phenomenal, like mind-blowingly good, that they don't always need the brands, to be honest. They have built their own brands, and now the brands need them also. So it's a really interesting flip
I
in
agree.
how everyone
Yeah,
works
I
together,
agree.
you know?
And that is definitely the pandemic and the lockdown where this all changed. I mean, like you, Karrie, you've been seeing the industry changing, but certainly in, come 2020, 21, it allowed people to suddenly think, actually, there's this digital platforms here that's enabled them to go and create whatever they want them to be. And,
Yeah.
and And I'm guessing as well that where we go, because I know you're passionate about the metaverse as well, that, what's your take on the metaverse? How do we see this, playing a part for our industry going forward? Is there things that we need to take on board and notice to help us grow even further and to look out for?
Yeah, oh, this is one of my most exciting topics. I'm completely immersed in it right now. I'm really lucky as well that my partner is a 3D designer, so he is immersed in it as well. So together we're really hoping that we can bring it into kit as much as possible. I'm so excited. Like it's the next evolution. It's coming.
My tummy's excited listening to
Yeah,
you.
it's so exciting. It's coming and it's coming fast. And there's some people, very few people in the industry that are doing some really exciting stuff. Of course, the brands are putting so much money behind it as well. So right now, right, Metaverse, it's a really hard thing to understand because it's nothing.
Right,
Sorry.
maybe just explain, because there will
Yeah,
be some
sure.
of our listeners then that will be sitting there and they're thinking, hang on, Dom and Karrie are talking about metaverse, head blow.
Yeah.
What is metaverse, if we could kind of explain that to people?
So that's it. It's not anything right now. So essentially, if you think back when www started, so the World Wide Web, when that started, it started off in places. So we had like chat rooms. There was no one place, not one destination at the very start. That's what's happening with the metaverse right now. There isn't one destination that is the metaverse. Right, metaverse is a metaphorical thing. It's not even something. So what we have is we have loads of different, like Centraland, and loads of different platforms and destinations, which are creating these online digital worlds. So it's a combination of VR, AR. So it's basically when you put like imaginary world into reality. So it's like as if I could put on a headset now and you're watching me and we're doing it real life, but it's actually in the digital world. It's kind of like Pokemon Go, but IRL.
Yeah,
It's
I know. Meta itself are putting a lot of money into this. Their virtual, I can't remember what they're called, but
the
the
headsets.
the the
Yeah,
the, vir- the headsets,
yeah,
which really tells you if Meta are doing this. It's hard for us to really understand how that will play a part for our industry, and it may take a few years yet before we really work out. But how could you, if you sort of sat here now, you kind of think, well, I think this is how it may play a part for us and how it can be of a benefit to us. Do you have any kind of idea on how you would see that?
yeah. Absolutely, loads. It's going to be, I think they're about to launch a headset which is going to blow our minds. That's going to be one of the biggest evolution steps coming up that we have, and they have said that they predict that we won't need an iPhone anymore. So if we think of that and how mind blowing that is, that's how much we're going to have to change our way of thinking. If you think back, right, do we need our iPods anymore?
I've still got my iPod right in front of me.
Have
That's
you?
it's just a sort of a thing that sits on my shelf as a part of a thing. No,
An
absolutely.
ornament.
There's no play.
We don't need
No,
it
absolutely
because the
no.
iPhone took over, and that's what Metaverse is going to do, and the headsets are going to do. Who knows? It's not going to be probably a headset. We're not going to be walking around with headsets, but still, it's not decided. So that's what we don't know yet, and that's what they're basically developing. But what will it mean for the hair industry? Oh, huge things like so much undecided, but I can see education is 100% going to be that way, right? You rock up and you put on your headset or whatever it's going to be in the future, and you're in a classroom with Connor James Doyle, and he's explaining the science of the hair, and he's explaining with a live model, and actually you're doing a live model at the same time, but you're just in your living room.
It's incredible. I guess consultations, you could see it that way, couldn't you? People
Yes.
rocking up and having a consultation within a space that they're, not out. I mean, I think you could be as creative as you want for this.
Yeah, the way
I,
as
I,
they
I
always
I
say.
remember, yeah. Well, I suppose it was a global event some years ago, and it was all about digital. And there was a guy there who was very much onto this, and yeah, well, we're going back 2019, and he put one of these helmets on. It blew me away then. I mean, it really blew me away then. So where this is going, but I guess for a lot of people, whilst they're having to deal with that, Carrie, it can be very overwhelming. Again, I use that word overwhelming again, but it can be overwhelming certainly when we're being faced with AI technology. People are like, oh my God. What comforting words could you give to people if they're feeling like this is scary stuff? Am I going to be able to keep up with this change?
Yeah, I get that. It is scary and it is daunting. I don't know. I guess I struggle because I'm on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, and I just get so excited by it. I guess take it easy, you know, do research, try and keep up to date with it. I mean, play with things. Don't be afraid to get into things. Like, don't be afraid to yeah, ask for help as well, right? Work with the youth. You learn everything from the youth, right? Like, don't be afraid to ask and ask questions, and it doesn't matter if you don't know, but be conscious of how that's showing up for you, because a lot of times we can show up with wrong feelings when we don't know something, and that's something I'd say just
Yeah,
tap into
beautiful.
it.
Yeah, don't be scared. I guess as a